Hello, you guys. Welcome back to another video slash episode on this podcast slash YouTube channel. You already know how it goes. Whether you are watching me right here on YouTube face to face or you are listening on Spotify, welcome or welcome back. Today, y'all, as you can see from the title, I'm going to be talking about older men, having an older boyfriend, dating guys where there's an age gap. As a 22-year-old girl, I feel like 1 to 2 years, that's not really an age gap. 1 to 2 years older than me, we're still in the same thing, mostly went to high school together. I'm talking about having a gap that is noticeable, two different places in life. Um, a gap. But I just want to preface this video before I get into anything. Ladies, men, gentlemen, non-binary people, I'm not here to talk about any age gap relationships that are strange as baby. If you're 18, a 26-year-old man shouldn't want you. If you're 18, please date someone 18 through 20. Just because it's legal don't make it right. I'm personally going to be reflecting on my experience as someone who started dating someone 26 when I was 21. So 4 years. First age gap relationship, things I noticed, what I went through, and just a conversation surrounding all that. So if you can relate to this or are interested, listen up, comment, let's chat about it. So let's get into it. A couple months ago, I got out of my first age gap older man relationship. Okay, like I said, I'm 22 years old. I've literally always dated someone exactly my age, like graduated same class as me, literally 1 to 3 months apart. That's just always been my life. I know a lot of girls get at or want older men because it stems from a whole lot of issues, maybe daddy issues, how they grew up, yada, yada, yada. I'm one of those girls where I'm pretty much sticking to how I've always felt about dating. I felt like I don't feel like there's any reason for me to date someone who's like more than 5 years apart from me, which this was 4 5 years. Um, and yeah, it's also kind of what I grew up seeing. Like my parents are 1 year apart. When girls are like, older men are more mature. I want an older man because of this. I want an older man because of that. I've never had a preference in age. Well, if anything, my preference was probably just someone my age. I don't know. I don't know. But then the dating apps came, right, where you can actually put what ages you want at all. And when I was on the apps where I met this older man, I literally put it to exactly what I said. I was 21. I put the age range from 20 to 26, and I ended up with 26. Now, even though, like I said, this was my first older boyfriend, this was not the first older person I've talked to, especially because of the apps. But it had just never really gotten that far. But one thing I did notice from when I would have talking stages or whatever with guys when I'm 20, they're like 25, something like that, or 21, 25. It would always be like have the last boyfriend I had was someone who never really brought up our age or seemed like he saw it. With like every older man that I talked to before my ex, it always felt like they brought it up like, hey, you're which is fine. I don't think it's something to ignore. Like I said, 4 years, 5 years, that's definitely a gap where you might have a different experience than me. You might, have more things of your own than I do. It's definitely like something to talk about, but it would always low key be brought up in like a shameful way, which I never really understood. Because, mind you, every older man that's ever pursued me, what did I just say? Pursued me. Like, slid in my DMs, followed me, shot their shot at me. And I'm one of those women, I've never lied about my age. I put my age on my social media. If you guys follow me on my TikTok or Instagram, even on YouTube, I'm always stating my age. I always showed I was 20, I was 21, even on the dating apps. So I'm like, it's not a shocker, right? But they would always bring it up in a way as like, wow, you're really cool. How men always are with me, so infatuated. So our connection is so great. But they would always be like, But like your age, like I'm kind of afraid of like being judged, and like I feel like some people might say some, like they would always try to confide in me about that. And low key, in my head, I would just be like, what the does that have to do with me? And I mean, seriously, like, I get it. Obviously, I'm not on the other end. I've never dated someone drastically 5 years under me. 5 years under me right now is underage. So, obviously not. But like, I would just be like, you're bringing it up and you're talking about how it's something that makes you uncomfortable and how you might feel judged for it if you pursue me. But I would always just be like, bitch, you're the one pursuing me. So it's like, I hear it, I hear you, I understand how people can view these situations, because yeah, sometimes there is age comes into play and men taking advantage of younger women. I know, like I know about all that. But I'm just like, at the end of the day, if you don't think you're like that and you're really into me and stand 10 toes down, date me or not. Like that that's literally what I would always give to these men who would be like, but this just makes me, it's just like, okay, like with anything else about dating me. If I had some other flaw that you're like, but this, it's like, yes, you can bring it up and talk to someone you're speaking with, but how many times are you gonna, like, bitch, you gotta decide, is it something you can look past or not? But then came my most recent ex, my last boyfriend, the first guy who didn't seem to care or pay any mind or really bring it up. I mean, other than the fact, like, oh, like you're 26, like my sister is 26. Yeah, we have the same age gap, blah blah. Like it wasn't, never brought it up in a I'm apprehensive or I'm blah blah blah. And I liked that. I was like, okay, like I don't gotta deal with the annoyance of boys talking about that like before. He seems cool. We have so much in common. He seems so sweet. And again, I'm not stupid. I'm like, he doesn't seem like he's seeking me out. Cause that is one thing I have to ask too, where I'm like, you're 26. I'm like, we met on a dating app. I'm like, well, what's the youngest you put? And he was like, I was 21 at the time. He was like, 21. He's like, I'm not dating a girl I can't go to the club with. And I was like, okay, period. Period. Valid. Valid, valid. So, y'all, like the joke and the example I literally used in my last podcast episode, it so quickly, I feel like, started to show that it wasn't just as, oh, whatever. Like, mind you, the age gap was never predatory. We're both in our 20s. We can both drink, stuff like that. But the power dynamic, I feel like very quickly started to show. What I said I made jokes about and explained in the last video is like, y'all, I feel like in my last relationship, I went through like the show The Idol. Y'all, the show The Idol, I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's starring The Weekend. It's from the creators of Euphoria. It's this young, successful girl who starts getting tangled up with this older man who tries to manipulate her and her success and control her and just like warp her mind into like doing things and giving things to him. And I'm like, bitch, I feel like my last relationship, I started living that shit. If you're not new to this podcast or channel, you know how I've been talking about what I'm healing from. How I feel like I just got out of a relationship that I'm thankful ended after a couple months, because I feel like I was giving way too much, way more than I should have, to someone who did not appreciate it, someone who should not have been dating me in the first place. And I really, at the end of it, just feel so taken advantage of, and like I said, like of my kindness and what I'm willing to give and like how I love people. And I truly feel like the age power dynamic played a role in it. You guys are new here. Max was living out of his car. Living out of his car. I didn't know that at first. He told me all of a sudden, a situation happened and I can't stay with my friend I've been living in, and now I have to live out of my car. Like a month later, he told me, oh yeah, that was a lie. Like I've been living out of my car the whole time. See, I never said that part on YouTube, but I was like, oh, oh. And I was so pissed off from being lied to. But in both instances, I just wanted to like be there for someone that I already felt like I loved. And what comes with not having a place to stay? Obviously, financial struggle, which I know we're all thinking, what is this man doing on a dating app trying to date you when there's bigger fish to fry? And also, I think the first time I ever mentioned what I'm healing from, I also wanted to mention I may like try to make light of what I went through, or like that's just my personality. But when I'm talking about this, I'm never trying to talk down or make a joke out of him or anyone who's ever struggled, not had a place to stay, gone through hard times, been homeless. That is not a joke. I'm not trying to make fun of anyone in that situation or was ever been in that situation. Um, I just want to make that clear. I'm just speaking from my experience, and I speak about the specific person because of what they did to me, because of their situation, not because they were in that situation. And I just think it's fun to, I want to make that clear. So when I found all this out and I still chose to stay with this man, he literally said to me to my face, like, I don't feel like any of my other exes or anyone I've ever been with like would have stayed. Like I assumed you would leave me over this, which I should have. Like I said, not because people who go through hard times is completely their fault, because I don't like being lied to. And when I date someone, you need to full come as your full self and let me decide if I want to deal with it. You didn't let me decide because you decided to deceive me, nigga. Okay? That's why that's why I'm saying I shouldn't have, but I did. And I remember like thinking about how he's saying, and everyone else in my life when I ended up telling them what happened was saying like, yeah, you're so nice for even like staying through that, because like what girl would stay through that? That really stuck with me, and I feel like he took that and ran with it. I feel like being with an older man in a worse position with me quickly turned into manipulation. Oh, there's this girl. Like I said, this is where I feel like the gap and dynamics come into play. Like she is more financially stable with me. She still has a place where she can live and stay. She has, and that started being thrown in my face like clockwork. Like at first, oh, can you send me some for this? Can you help me with this? Okay, like I will. And then, oh, can you pay for this date? Because I used all my gas to come here, blah, blah, blah. It started I started giving way more than I wanted to and than I could have as a young girl, yes, who is in a very fortunate situation where I'm able to save and work towards my goals. But that doesn't mean just because to anyone, oh my God, if I could like give myself a couple months ago a hug, to anyone, just because you're in a good position or you have something doesn't mean you're obligated to give to people you love when it's more than you can, or it's taken away from what you're trying to work for. And this older man literally tried so hard to convince me that, like, no, this is what you're supposed to do because I would do the same. This is literally giving the weekend and the idol. Like, I'm here for you. I love you. I'm going to take care of you for now and like for the rest of our lives and stuff like that. So you doing this, you should do this because I'm gonna do all this in the future. I know some of y'all are getting war flashbacks from what I'm saying, because that's really like I look back at that and I'm just like, that is just so manipulative to just take advantage of someone in a different position with you just because they're in a better position. And then like I said, it's not even the fact of like asking or helping, because like I said, some of it I wholeheartedly did and could, but it's just like, oh, I just felt like as soon as I gave something it was like, oh, she's willing to. So, and I was just like, oh my God, like, and anytime I tried to confide in how I was feeling, where I was like, I don't think I should be doing this, again, thrown in my face. You're in this position, you have this, and I'm gonna take care of us for the rest of your life and stuff. So you should be willing to do this. Or oh my God, y'all! Like one thing I think about sometimes that really ticks me off is I remember when I would lend this man money, mind you, like when it comes to like you asking to borrow some money, the minute you have the money to pay someone back, bitch, you should give it back. Because what? If you said I'm gonna give it back next paycheck, give it back next paycheck. Oh my God. This man, let's say I gave him $100 for something. Next paycheck comes around. I get off work, I'm like, is there a reason you didn't like send it back? Because I'm sending you like the rest of like what's in my checking. So now I'm having to pull and decline from my savings because I'm helping you. And like that's an issue from someone who's trying to save and move out and have my own life eventually. And he would be like, well, I can't give you the 100 back because I got to do this, or if I give you that and I pay for my car or I buy these clothes, then I won't have like money for food or whatever. It would just be like, and I would literally clock it and be like, But paying me back should be in your like it should be the first thing in the budget. I need that money back because now you don't pay me back. I'm expected to have that 100 back, and you're saying you can't give me my money back because so I just have to dig for my savings again. Like, no, you're supposed to have it. And what irks me about this too, y'all, is I've obviously lent people money before, like people close to me, all of them women. Whenever it's like, oh, that something came up, it's like I ask, can I just give you part of it now and part of it next paycheck? No, this man would literally just assume like I just can't give it back. Not can I give it to you paycheck? Not ask, just assume, because I feel like he literally took advantage and just knew. And I'm like, oh, that really gets me because like assuming that you can't pay me back or not even have or asking if you can, just assuming, I was like, really just shows me how he viewed me. And what would happen if I brought up an issue of this? I'm digging in my savings, I'm declining my savings, like you need to at least give me part, screaming at me, having a whole episode, crashing out like the weekend in the idol when you oh, when you say when you're a lover girl and you're a giver and you say no or set a boundary with a man once, it just rocks their whole world upside down. Like, and mind you, I'm always keep it 100 on my channel. There were good things about this relationship. I low-key trauma bonded with this man. Like, we had some similar trauma. This was my first relationship since my sexually abusive one. I was able to heal a lot of wounds with someone who didn't hurt me in that way. And I also was able to learn a lot. Like I said, this man was 26. He had a lot more life, dating experience, went through stuff than me. He could drop some game on me. I always asked for someone who could like teach me something because I always felt like I was always teaching men something. Like, so I was like, I think learning and actually being able to gain positives from him really helped his manipulation, because when he would say crazy stuff like that, like throw money in my face, throw my situation in my place, sometimes again I would kind of think like, well, he's older and he struggled in something before, so I feel like I would kind of feel like maybe like he's right again and I'm tripping. The manipulation. I think another thing that came into play, my first older boyfriend, was something else I never experienced. I've had two serious relationships before the last one. One when I was like fresh out of high school, my first year of college. The next one was 1920. Um, we were on the same page. Like, we need to work, we need to go to school, we need to progress in our careers before we want to get married and have kids. Like in 5 years, y'all know, everyone like when you're in college, like the 5 year plan, maybe by 25 and all that stuff. In this relationship, I was with a man again. Roll the clip. The position he was in was talking about so like I want kids because before I'm 30. Mind you, I'm 22. That means in 4 years you want kids. To me, in 4 years, that doesn't look like children for me. In 4 years, at 26, if I start dating someone right now, maybe at 26 we're getting married because I want to be married before I have kids. He's all like, I want no, like I need a kid by 30, blah blah. Mind you, not gonna get into it, but this man had his own trauma with stuff, which is reasons why he really wanted to be a father, which I thought was a good trait, but not in the ways that he would try to push stuff on me. Like, this nigga was really tripping, guys. He was tripping as fuck. Like, he literally was talking about like kids by 30, like it would be a serious, like trying to like, it would be a serious problem, like if I'm not a dad by 30, like blah blah. It was just like not taking like my feelings into consideration. I remember like 2 times I had to tell him about himself too. Again, why do men love to talk about what they don't have? Talking about when I get an apartment or when I'm in my, but don't tell me what I need to be doing when you have that, when you don't have it, nigga. Shut the fuck up. Anyway, I had to tell him about himself 2 or 3 times when he was like, I'm grown, I'm in a relationship where like at the point if I have my place together and it's going good in a few months, like you should just come move in with me, like we're grown. And I would highly, again, y'all, don't blame this man for some of the ways he acted, because like I said, he came from chaos, he came from instability. I came from the opposite. I came from two-parent household, set me up from greatness. seen a healthy, positive marriage that has been together since college, right? I'm like, and also like a very female dominated, don't be stupid. Like, my dad is the greatest, and the greatest men know how other men could be. So I'm like, I'm not moving in with someone over months. I need to be with them for over a year, and it's gonna be like on my time. And we would literally argue about that. For again, nigga, why are you arguing about something you don't have? How about you get it first? You get something first before you try to, huh? Like, no, like I feel like this is where the age, like the power dynamics come in, because it's like the kids, the moving in, which like is not always the case, because some people at 22 are ready to have kids. It just depends on the mentality. Just like my 26-year-old sister, she doesn't want a kid immediately, like this boy did. And I just feel like that power dynamic is so unhealthy, because mind you, being at different places in life, knowing what you want, having different timestamps for things, I don't think is necessarily a deal breaker. But when you're in partnership, when you're in love, you have to consider the other person. And I feel like he was just so set in stone, like, no, like this is what's like going to happen. Like you're gonna be real disappointed when you learn you can't make me do a thing I don't wanna do. Like what? And mind you, even if you've dated someone that is like around your age, you might have still had conversations like this or felt like this, because there's always a power dynamic, no matter it's an older man or just a man, because of the society, because of the patriarchy. But these are things that are really used to like me about having an older person, that I felt like the power dynamic and the power that they felt over me in these situations really came from being a man, obviously the male ego, but also being older than me and thinking I just like no. Y'all, I was really Lily Rose Depp and he was the weekend. Literally was an Ethiopian man too. No shade. My Ethiopian, my African brothers, y'all fine as hell. Y'all can still HMU, but that was just a joke because I noticed the similarity. Also, my ex was half. He was also African American like me, but that doesn't really matter. Anyways, besides the point, I say all that to say, does my negative experience with an older man make me say I'm never dating older again? Absolutely not, because again, I don't judge people or groups of people based on one experience. That's very dangerous. That's very dangerous. Like, no. But if I were to date another older man or any man, you gotta have your head on straight before you can talk to me like that. I know that much. This tattoo says it all. I'd say if I were to date an older man again, I would not really go above 5 years. Um, but yeah, you just gotta have your head on straight, have a place to stay, have the basics, place to stay, job, car, and also just hopefully more similar timestamps than me. Because like I said, he again used to try to make me feel like I'm 26, like I know men of my age, people of my age. No, that's not true. Because like I said, I have a sister who's the same age as you who doesn't want all that stuff that fast. It really just depends on the person. And literally, even with the kid stuff, it's talking about I don't want to. Ladies, listen to your intuition. Why do men always want it raw? And I feel like I always make the same. I always make the same good choices, never to let him have it. Why? Why do I remember that man was asked for that? Never gave it to him. But like, I feel like men literally plot on you. Like he was asked for that. I said no. I'm not. I'm not. I don't want kids, boy. I'm not gonna do that. Right? I remember he would literally like talk about that and talk about like, oh, if you were pregnant right now, if it was this year, like I would be so happy. Like this is the type of man where now I see what girls talk about when they're like, men don't want a wife and a girlfriend, like they just want someone to give them a baby. That's literally what it gave. Because I'm just like, why would you be happy if I was pregnant right now? You don't have a place to stay. We don't have anything talking about, oh, it's 9 months. Like in 9 months, we can make a lot of stuff. No, when I want to have my first child, I want to have a place. I want to have a ring. I want to have a car. I want to have a healthy foundation. Like, it was just so like dumb. But yeah, to anyone watching, let me know in the comments if you've had experience, if you can relate to this in any other way. That's why I do it. I love when in those situations you can feel so alone and so small when you're dealing with manipulative people. It can be like, oh my God, no one else has ever felt this way. They have. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. But yeah, to anyone viewing this, guys, don't let anybody rush you. Don't let anybody disrespect you. Don't let anyone make you feel small. And yeah, as always, comment, like, subscribe, thumbs up, because ever since I started talking about my experience and what I've went through with this man, now the ops are making their presence known. Every time I get a dislike on a video, I know someone's still on my dick. So give this a thumbs up. Give this a thumbs up while I keep and continue to share my story for the other women, for anyone who can relate, because I think it's important to talk about your experiences and heal as a community. Yeah, and I will continue to talk about whatever I want. You guys know something? One thing I never understand is when they're like, if you still talking about your ex, or you still have to say something about like someone from the past, like that means you must still have feelings about. I think that's crazy. Bitch, this is my life. This is my experience. Y'all see, a couple of weeks ago, I made a video about a girl from high school. I don't give a about her. It was just a story time that I wanted to tell, and especially for my other black or brown people who can relate going to predominantly white schools. That's why I do it. It's important to share your stories, like I said, and have community and make other people feel seen. And because I'm at the point where I'm ready and I want to. And I'm going to keep doing it whenever the I want. Thank you guys so much for listening to another video. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.